Hi guys, we're at the end of our week for our DMA solutions. So we're going to take a look at DMA week 32, day 4. So let's get started with our multiplication equations. So if you notice, we have a double digit by a single digit multiplication fact here. So we have 20 groups of 1, or we can use our understanding of order property to say I could have one group of 20. So one group of 20, if I were to use a bar diagram, which I could use, one group of 20 would be 20. And of course, anything times 1 is going to be itself. Now, we could do the same thing here. We could do 4 groups of 70, and we could think of it as 4 bars with 70 in each of those bars. And we can use our understanding of repeated addition for multiplication. So 70 plus 70 is 140. If we don't know our multiplication facts well yet, 70 plus 70 is another 140. And of course, 140 and 140. 100 and 100 is 200, and 40 and 40 makes 80. Now, we can also be efficient and use an efficient method, which means it saves us a little bit of time, but we can use our basic fact of 7 times 4. And then we know that we're multiplying that by 10. So 7 times 4 is 28. And 28 times 10 is going to give us 280. How do we know that? Because 10 times 8 is 80, and 10 times 20 is 200. So we can use our understanding of a basic fact, multiply it by 10, or we can use our understanding of repeated addition. But those are just 2 strategies that you can use in order to figure that out. We could also look at number 3 here, 80 times 6, or 6 groups of 80. So again, we can use this understanding of 80s. Now, if you notice, I did 3 groups of 80 here. So 3 groups of 80 should be 240. If I do another 3 to make that 6, I'm using my understanding of the distributive property or the break apart property. This should be 240. So basically what I did there is I did 80 times 3 and 80 times 3 again to get these 6 groups of 80. So again, that's going to give me 480. Now, again, if I use my basic fact, 8 times 6 is 48. And if you don't know that quite yet, keep practicing and then multiply it by 10. 8 times 6 is 48, and multiply that by 10 would give me 408. So again, many different strategies. We just need to practice using those different strategies. Our second problem tells us to find the area of the rectangle. So if we are looking for area, area is how many square units of space is used to cover the inside of a figure. So in 3rd grade, we use rectangles and squares. Later on, you'll figure out triangles, circles, but for right now in 3rd grade, we look for area of rectangles and squares because those are easy to measure in square units. So we know we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. We don't know what those units are because it doesn't tell us feet or inches or centimeters. It just gives us our rows, and we have 4 in each row. So we could label that either on the bottom or the top, doesn't matter. But if I have 5 groups with 4 squares in each group, I can use my understanding of multiplication to find my square units. So I would have 20 square units of space inside of my rectangle. Now, if I wanted to find the perimeter of my rectangle, I would use the length of each one of these lines that it's used to make up that rectangle. And we know that this is opposite, so of course this is going to be a length of 5 units. And this is going to be a length of 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 units. So, if I wanted to find the perimeter, I would take the length of each one of these lines that we use to make up the rectangle and add those lengths together to find out how long our perimeter is. So if I added 5 plus 5 is 10 and 4 plus 4 is 8, that would give me a perimeter of 18. Now again, we're not looking for perimeter. I just wanted to review it so that you understand the difference between area and perimeter. Number 3 on our DMA asks us to round each number to the nearest 10, then subtract. So again, remember when you're rounding to the nearest 10, we look for the tens place. We have a 40 here. We use our ones place to decide, are we going to round down to 40 or up to 50? So the two tens that this number is between is 740 and 750. Now we see that 8 is past the 5, or 745 is the middle between these two tens. So since it's past 5 or 745, we know that we're going to round up to 750. Taking 259, 59 is 1 away from the next 10, so that should be pretty easy to figure out. We have 250, which is what's in our tens place, or the next 10, which would be 260. Again, looking at the ones place, we know that this is just 1 away from 260, so this is going to be closest 10, 260. Now we go ahead and subtract. So we can take the 750 and subtract the 250. 750 minus 200 gives us 550. Take the 550 and subtract 60. So if we subtract 60 from this, we're actually going to break this up as 50 and 10. So we can take this 50 here away, which would leave us with 500, and then take 10 more away, which would leave us with 500 minus 10, which would give us 490. So that's a mental math strategy that we're using right there. Now, if we used an algorithm, we would take the 750 minus the 260. There are no ones to subtract, so we have 0 ones. We cannot subtract 60 from 50, so we borrow a group of 10 tens, which is 100, and we have 6 hundreds left. We take those 10 tens and add it to the 5 that we have here, which makes 15. So we have 15 tens minus 6 tens, and that's going to give us 9D. And 600 minus 200 is going to give us 400. 490 is our difference. Our word problem for today tells us we have a jar of 36 pickles. We're going to take those pickles and divide them equally, so we already have what our operation is, between 4 people. So we're sharing equally a total number of objects. In this case, they're the pickles. So we're going to take and going to draw ourselves a model here. So our model is going to be 4 bars or 4 groups, and each one of those bars is being a representation of the people, we're going to take the 36 pickles and we're going to share them equally between the 4 people. Now, if we needed to, we could start drawing tally marks in here until we get to 36, or if we know our multiplication facts, we know we have 4 groups times however many pickles each person gets. So P, we can put a P for pickles here, and that gives us 36 total pickles. And these are people. So again, if we know our multiplication facts well, we would say that 4 groups of 9 is going to give us 36. How do we check? We can check by using our repeated addition, or we could use repeated subtraction and start subtracting 9 from 36. We know that 9 plus 9 is 18, and 9 plus 9 is 18. 20 is your 10 and 10, and your 8 plus 8 is 16. So together, those are the 36 pickles. So the people shared 9 pickles each. So we could put a 9p here for 9 pickles each person gets. So in our answer, we could say each person will get 9 pickles because we divide the 36 pickles equally into 4 groups, and that would give us 9 pickles for each person. And remember, we're also including our because. Whenever we go to write and complete our word problems. So that's the end of week 32. We will start a new week on Monday and have a great weekend. Keep those skills up, and remember, don't forget to practice your multiplication tables. You can see how important they are whenever we're solving for multiplication and division problems.